to Tech Savvy Women Over 50 magazine, issue number 3.
Yay.
We are honored to have Barbara Herod as the cover of this issue, especially talking about finances. And so today we're interviewing her, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and what she does, what she offers, and some little things about, just her life in general and how she can help you. So, Barbara, here we are.
Hello, hello. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's always a pleasure talking with you. And I think today is going to be another pleasurable day. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun. And we'll try to have 30 minutes worth of fun.
Okay, then. All right. Well, then we better get with it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Barbara Herod. I am, I guess I can say that I'm from El Paso. I was not really born here, but I come by way of Pecos, Texas, but I call myself a native now of El Paso because I've been here for so long. And I am a mother of one, yay, just one. And she gave me 3 beautiful grandchildren. Praise God for that. And I have one of my grandchildren gave me 2 great grands. And so I'm a mother, grandmother, and great grandmother. So I am just, just elated by all of that. And, just so blessed to have that in my life. As a career person, I have been out in the public schools for over 27 years, special ed teacher out there. Absolutely loved it. Then I went on to didn't know this at the time that I actually liked adults. Didn't really know that. I thought
I like
I was a kid person all these
that.
years. I thought I just loved kids, but I actually found out that I actually like adults. Oh my gosh. And so I've been teaching at El Paso Community College for about 10 years now. Can't believe I made 10 years.
Wow.
So I'm really enjoying it. I'm just so grateful that I get to continue to be educating and, just staying in that realm. And it's so wonderful to actually be talking to adults that can actually talk back. Because them
Mm,
kids, ooh,
yeah.
goodness. But I actually am enjoying this. And, I know, you're going to be, kind of asking me about my journey and everything like that. And I just see it as an encompassing of being education. So
Mhm.
when you are asking me these questions, it's all surrounded by education.
Absolutely. Because I've learned, I've had some shock and awe moments with us in our conversations. And I'm not an educator in the sense of, teaching, in the school system or anything. But even then, as you were telling me your story, it was some shock. I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is wow, like a wow factor."
A servant leader at the church, at my local church, and that I, am a greeter and an usher. And those are my loves too, because I get to speak to people, get to talk to people.
Yeah.
And, that's just something I enjoy so very much is making sure that people are welcomed into whatever environment that I'm in. And I love that. I love bringing people in and watching them enjoy what they're doing.
Well, I can tell because you glow when you're talking about it. Even that is amazing because it explains so clearly why. Yes, I'm going to ask you some questions, but the more I've gotten to know you, the more I see why you're so passionate about um, uh, helping others create generational wealth and to be aware of their personal finances, especially those who are educators and any stage of their careers as teachers, especially for those who are about to retire or have retired. And
Yes,
so that passion shines in within you as to how much you do care about this, because you've experienced some things that
absolutely.
I think people can probably relate to more than they want to honestly say, because finances, I think, to a lot of people are personal,
Very
and
much.
they don't want to seem ignorant about it. Yet, ignorant doesn't mean stupid. It just means you don't know what you don't know. And if someone educates you on that, now you become knowledgeable in the space.
Absolutely.
And as you were talking to me about that, that's what was happening
Yes.
is I was becoming knowledgeable
Yes.
about what you were saying. And then when I go to do research, I have clarity on what to actually look for. What am I searching for? And you sort of have that. You have that down.
Well,
You
and
have that down. So
you know,
yeah.
and it's and exactly what you're saying. Giving a little bit about my journey into this. You
Hmm.
know, why finances? Well, I mean, it's not a tragic story. It's just a story of, like you were just saying, the lack of knowledge.
Hmm.
It's not that I
Hmm.
was not knowledgeable, but it was just a lack of knowledge. And the reason that I felt that this was happening to me is because we are, and it could be any of us, when we get a nice job. I want to say a well paying job. I'm going to go with that route, a well paying job, because
Okay.
all jobs are great. But, and if they bring in the money that you need them to bring in, it's a good job. That's how I want to say it, like that.
Hmm.
But once you have reached that pinnacle of getting that, what you call, quote unquote, is the good job, then you are expecting that job to really take care of you.
Hmm.
Because think about this, they're going to offer you what? Insurance.
Yes.
They're going to offer you health insurance, something you
Hmm.
may or may not have had before you got this good job.
Good job. Yes.
Okay. So they're going to offer you all of those things. They're going to tell you, oh, by the way, we are going to make sure that you have a retirement. Oh, wow.
Hmm.
How many jobs have a pension nowadays? Not many jobs at all have a pension. They are, I
Right.
mean, they're telling you you're going to have that. You're going to be able to have coverage for disability, and you're going to be in the union and all of these things.
Mhm.
So all of these things that you were not aware of before you got this good job, you're thinking this job is going to take care of me. Therefore, I don't need to worry about anything but doing what? Doing
Doing
my
your job. Yep.
right,
Yep. Do
and
your job and everything else will be fine.
everything is going to be fine. And for the most part, it is. I'm not saying
Hmm.
that it's not, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's so many hidden things that are overlooked because we are just doing our jobs and we're not thinking about. I mean, teaching, that encompasses almost your whole life. It really and
Yeah.
truly does, because these are other people's children that you must make sure that you keep safe, that you provide them some type of education, that
Hmm.
that you are doing what you said that you signed up for, and that is
Right.
taking care of somebody else's child and making sure that they arrive at the other end with a great outcome. Okay.
Right.
And so you're not thinking about, finances and all that
No.
stuff that goes with that. You just know you get a paycheck
Hmm.
every month or every 2 weeks, depending on what schedule you on.
Right.
And,
There's some deductions. You can see
and there's
that.
my check
Right.
stubs, there's some deductions that they say they have to take, so I just go along with it. And,
Right.
and you don't really ever really think about those things until you are either in
Hmm.
mid-year of your career. You didn't put in that plus 10, 15 years. And then you kind of like, well, is there something else? Then you're heading towards that retirement age, and then you're just like, I better start checking on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
By then, you want to start checking on, is this, a lot of times they don't tell you that your insurance doesn't follow you. So all these years you put in, you've missed out on having insurance to cover your family, because the insurance that you have with the job may or may not follow you once you leave that job.
Right.
And a lot of times we're not told that, right?
Or
Um,
if we're told, we don't quite understand,
what it means, follow.
the details of it. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, uh, with a good job, with a job that has a lot of benefits and things like that, we become under the false premise that everything is taken care of. Our
Mm-hmm.
finances are well taken
Right.
care of. We can feed our children. Our children are clothed. We travel if we want to go on vacations. We keep our bills paid. All of those things are wonderful, and that is what that good job is doing for you. But underneath all of that, do you know that once you leave that job, what how are you going to sustain yourself if you're not receiving a pension, if you only are relying on social security, if you can get social security?
Mm-hmm. So,
Those
what would be the one reasons why someone would not be receiving a retirement fund, or or a pension? Some people may not even know what a pension is anymore, because the terminology is sort of faded away
absolutely,
with the whole generation of people.
absolutely,
So now we call them, by numbers, 401k, this, and this. But for teachers, and educators, you have a different number.
absolutely. Well, if you are in private practice, or if you are, like, in a private corporation, Walmart, all the stores, different things like that, then,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're in a firm or whatever, you will be receiving 401k.
Mm-hmm.
That is for private sector. But for the public, and for what we do as far as government workers, or firemen, nurses, people like that, we are in what they call the pension sector, meaning that when we retire from whatever this position is, more than likely we are going to receive a pension. A pension is another form of an annuity, and you
Mm-hmm.
cannot outlive an annuity. It is going to be there as a continuation into
Forever.
forever. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't have many of those out there. Most corporations and things like that don't have those. It's usually with the government.
Mm.
So we will be receiving that. But what you have to be understanding about that, it is never going to be 100% of what you put into it. You're never going to get 100% of it out. It,
Wow.
it will drop anywhere down to 40 to 50% of that is what you're going to be receiving in your retirement. So,
Hmm.
you have to say, is my lifestyle, can I keep my same lifestyle? Because, retirement is not about a number. It should
Mm.
not be about age, I should say, like that.
We talked about that. Yeah, because you have people that
Can
they set a goal and they want to retire before they're 30. It's like what?
It is not about your age, but that's what we've been taught, that it's about age.
Hmm.
But actually it's not about age. It is about, do you have enough money to sustain your lifestyle when you are no longer working?
Right.
That's pretty much what retirement is. So do are you going to be bringing in enough money from whatever stream that you have created? Are you going to be able to, bring in enough money to sustain you? And a lot of times we think we are going to, because we think we're going to have, uh, our pensions, if we receive pensions, or,
Hmm.
if we are going to be receiving Social Security. So
What would be one of the reasons why a person in the government system working? What would be one of the reasons why they wouldn't have a pension if that's something that they've been paying into? Is it you can share your experience if you like, but just in general,
it's
why would a person have? I know that there's rules and things, so you explain like they would only be receiving a certain percentage, but that's based on the money that you've applied to the account over time.
Mhm.
So,
And it has a formula. And
yeah.
so that's how you are going to get your pension based off of that formula. And the formula usually is 2.5% of your annual, what you put in there. So I'm always telling my teachers, because I teach teachers to be teachers as in
Hmm.
my educational field at the college. You have to always be aware that you want to be in the being a teacher, but always be looking for ways that you can increase your income, because
Mm,
teachers usually our incomes pretty much stays stagnant or static and steady for long periods of time before we see increases or raises or things like that. So
right.
if you just stay in that teacher mode the entire time, then that's how you're going to be receiving your annuity. Is going to be based off of your highest 5 years. So your 5 years of your last 5 years of service before you retire is how they are going to uh, determine what you are going to be receiving as far as your pension when you retire. Yeah, there's a
So
lot
how
of
does that affect
little
how what
nuances
you
in it.
pay in? Oh,
Mhm.
go ahead now.
There's a lot of little nuances in it and things like that.
Hmm.
So you have to kind of know those. And most of us don't know those. I know those things because of my journey. Like I said, I taught for 27 years, never really checked on my income, just
Hmm.
knew I was making enough, and it was supplying all my needs. Everything was great. Never really thought about it for the most part. And most of us teachers don't, because I am now working with teachers to help them to understand their annuities and help them to understand, set up your 403b. That's what we get. We don't get a 401k, we get 403bs and 457s.
Hmm.
Those are our tax codes for us to put aside money for savings for when we retire. And a lot of us don't do that because we don't think, well, I'm going to get a pension. I got a husband. I have,
Yeah.
money coming in. And we don't. We don't think of those things because we're like, I got all this I'm going to be fine,
You'll be fine. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't
And
need.
it's the concern that I would have the most about thinking that everything will be fine is when the first moment it's not,
Yes,
and you find out the painful way that you're not as prepared as you think.
absolutely.
It seems to be, if you've categorized this as far as a checklist that you're uh,
Absolutely.
offering everyone. So with this in mind, if you are just starting in your teaching career and you're like a year in, and then you find out, some valuable information, especially what you're going to express a little in a little bit, you
Yes.
have time, because your career is all in front of you.
Yes.
Midway through, you have time to recover,
Yes.
but you're going to have to really buckle down. Maybe at that time, children may be a little older, expenses may shift,
Yes.
so you may be able to focus on your retirement a little more. Then, excuse me, it's the retired, you're going into retirement, or those who have
Ready for
retired,
the going
who
into
not,
the
yeah,
transition.
they,
Yes.
they didn't fund it. And so now there's not enough, even with Social Security, there's not enough.
Yes. And
You have recommended a few things that to let people know that there are options. They have, it's not the end of the world.
yes, absolutely.
That they have options. So you want to explain a little bit about the 8-step program that guides people through achieving this financial awareness and avoiding those retirement pitfalls.
Absolutely. Well, to start with, I'll start with the 8 step, which
Hmm.
helped me a lot. In that, I like I said, I just went along with the fact that everything was fine. Money coming in,
Hmm.
paying everything, family is happy, I'm happy, no
Yeah.
problem. And then as I started going along and getting prepared, like I know a lot of us are preparing for that retirement, then I started actually looking at my finances and I'm saying, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this. I don't know if my lifestyle, I can keep the same lifestyle. What am I going to have to cut out? I'm going to have to,
Mhm.
get rid of some things. Well, this 8-step plan that I found through a great program it starts out talking to you about making sure that you have enough money, spare money.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's the key, is having enough extra money so that you can start paying down your debt, because
Mhm.
we don't think about the paying down the debt. We just know we got debt, but we don't start thinking about that. So the first step is to find that spare money. How can we
Mhm.
find that spare money? And of course, it's all going to come from our lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we're doing our lifestyle and everything. So we start finding money. So that would be the first stage, is, how's your money coming in? Is it coming in through your job? Is it coming in through side hustles, whatever? So you start
Yeah.
looking through those and finding that extra money that you can put aside. Then you go into, okay, I have a little bit of extra money over here. Now I need to start my emergency fund.
Mhm.
And that is a lot of times is a difficult for people to do, is to do an emergency fund. But we need to have an emergency fund. So I, in my the way that I teach and have them to go through this, is I help them to set up their emergency fund. Okay.
Mhm.
And I can just attest to it for myself, that it was such a great relief and understanding. A lot of us know these things, and I don't want to be, making anyone feel bad or anything about this. We know a lot of these things, but do we have these things in place?
Right. It's the implementing
Yes,
that
it's the actual
part.
implementing of putting these things in place. And I didn't realize that that was such a huge, great component, is to put
Mhm.
these things in place. And so now I started doing that. So once I put in my emergency fund, then I started feeling some relief. Tension
Mhm.
were coming out of the shoulders and everything. It was like, oh my God, they're right. Having some spare money just in case of an emergency. Yes, we all need that.
Mhm. Yeah.
And going on from there, taking advantage of our, deferred programs that we have right there in front of us, our
Mhm.
401ks, our, 403bs, or whatever you have that your company is offering, especially if they're going to do any kind of matching,
Mhm.
maximize those things. Start small, but maximize them. Start working towards where you can get to where you're putting in the maximum amount in there. And every year that changes. Every year you can go out and find what the new um, amount that they allow you to put in to maximize. So,
Okay.
yeah, every year you can go and find that out, and it changes a little bit. Sometimes it go up a couple $100 or whatever.
Mhm.
And but I teach all of those things, so I'm just giving you just kind of like basic little overviews of some of those things, but I do teach those as we go along. Then, of course, we start looking into um, how is your credit?
Ooh.
How is your credit? Because a lot of times, we're getting things. We get those big ticket items, our cars and houses and all those kind of things like that. And it
Yeah.
may not, your credit may be good. I'm not even saying your credit may be good, but how is your ratio to the amount of money you're bringing in? So
Mhm.
we need to know that. We need to know, can we be without this money coming in when we go into retirement? Because
Right.
it's going to be cut. So
Right.
the
And a
thing,
lot of people don't want to have to start selling off vehicles or
absolutely,
second homes and all that simply because they didn't plan accordingly. Like
absolutely,
what you just said is wonderful for someone starting out because they have their whole timeline in front of them. And
and
then for
those are
someone
just small
midway,
steps.
yeah, those are the small steps,
Yeah,
emergency funds and all that.
yeah. and just check.
It's
Make
small but important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's where, we just, it's a building block. I
Yeah.
see it as just a building block. You're just building up on the next set of knowledge that you get about the
Hmm.
finances, the next set of knowledge, and you keep building until you get to that stage where you've paid your house off. You know,
Hmm.
when I work with, and I go out and I work with teachers, and I help them to set up their annuities. I help them to set up their life insurance and any kind of things that they want to set up for their family for coverage. I go out there
Hmm.
and I help them, and I tell them, I said, the thing that I always try to express to everyone is to take a really careful look at your debt, because when you're starting to get ready to transition into that retirement, you don't want to have the same amount of debt that you had when you first started out,
Ooh, right.
because
Ooh.
that is going to eat into your pension like you would not believe.
Yeah. The second mortgages
All
and so
those,
on and so forth. Yeah. So
yes,
midway into their career, say someone's been teaching for maybe 10, 12 years,
mm,
it's a good time to, although you may be really, you think you're really up and up on your finances, that would be a good time to do a really deep assessment so that you
yes,
can make shifts
yes,
while you're still perky and moving around, and
yes,
you're and you've only been in it 12 years and you're just excited. You passed that 10-year mark. In
yes.
15, you haven't hit yet where you're like, whoa, it's been 15 years.
And then you
That's
start,
a good time to do a deep assessment.
that's the time you
Yeah.
really want to do a great assessment on everything that is going on in your finances. You want to,
Hmm.
do I have coverage, outside of the school?
Hmm.
Because like I said, some of those policies don't follow you, some of those programs don't follow you, so you want to start checking on all of those things. Do I have this on the outside? uh, you
Hmm.
know Checking in, and a lot of things that people don't check into is their social security.
You
when
know what? I
when
don't
you
even think we know how to even do that. Like,
I teach that. I show them how
wow.
to go out and create a login, create their login to their social security, start looking around in that,
Hmm.
making sure that if teaching is not your only job that you've had, you need to have 40 credits. You need to have 40 credits so that
Hmm.
you can get some of that social security when you reach that age, when you have
Wow.
arrived at that age. So
Yeah.
sometimes, those of us who have been teaching, teaching is our only career in El Paso and some of the surrounding Texas states, we don't pay into social security.
Wow. I didn't know that.
We do not pay into that. So you have
That's
to,
interesting.
that is 6.2% that you do not have, and so therefore it makes your income gap be wide. It opens up
Hmm.
the income gap, and so therefore you may not have enough money to meet all of your financial needs
Wow.
because you're missing that portion, and you have to fill that with something. So what are you going to fill that with? That's where you can fill it with your 403bs and your 457s.
Hmm.
So you can fill,
Wow.
start that savings into those accounts.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
So is
but
that something that's automatically introduced to you when you become when you're a new teacher, or is it something that's like it's introduced in maybe
in
you
a
say yes
broad
or no,
in a
but
broad
it's very broad. Yeah.
in a broad sense, you can find it on the website, whatever
Hmm.
school that you're working for. If you go looking around on the website, you can see, if you go to the human resource department, you can see some of those things. But if you don't know what they will do for you, then you're just going to be looking. You're going to be like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
no,
And then you may brush it off, and you may have agreed to a certain amount to go into that to fund that, but it's not really something that um, because you're not educated on it, it may not be enough. And
right,
you really could put more into it. And because you think you have all this extra income coming
right,
in, that you will spend it somewhere else when it could be focused on later.
Yes.
After you have your emergency funding and everything, that portion of it can go towards your retirement. And that way, energetically speaking, you're going to and from work with this sense of clarity and confidence that you're taking care of yourself, and you're not having to depend on something that you really can't control. This is something you have a little control over, especially if
Yes.
they're matching. So
Right.
you can say, you know what, I don't like the word sacrifice, but I will spend money wisely. I will spend money
Yes.
cautiously and with a certain amount of awareness, because I have this good job and I don't want to misplace and mismanage
Yes.
uh, while you have it coming in, because that could change. Nothing is permanent.
Nothing is permanent.
So
And,
that
and,
can definitely
and
change.
exactly. And that's that's the awareness that I want. It's not about making anyone feel bad, or saying that, you may not have this. It's just like you said, if you don't have the knowledge, then you don't know to put these things in place. That's where
True.
I come in. That's
Yeah.
where I make sure that you are aware of these things. And now let's see what we can do to put them in place. So when you start getting into the mid-year, even though I said at the beginning, find that extra money, what you're finding that extra money for is making sure that you can start paying down debt. That's what that extra
Mhm.
money is for, is paying those things down and paying them off, so
Mhm.
that they are not going to impede you putting more into your 403bs and your 457s, because that's what usually blocks people from putting more into those accounts, is the fact that I'm stretched.
Yeah, they've accumulated debt from through ignorance. Just
Yes.
because they have this good job, they go make high ticket purchases. You mentioned without thinking of, I don't want to say consequences, but without, actually, it does become a consequence. They do so without having all of the knowledge that they need
Yes.
before making that type of purchase. Because
Right.
usually those are just from gratification.
Oh
I
yeah.
earned this, which we should all
I
treat
deserve
ourselves.
these things. Yes.
Yeah, but do you need the vehicle that's $100,000 versus one that could be 50
Yes.
or even less, and
30.
still have that satisfying feeling of accomplishment? And you know that
Yeah.
the money will be used for future,
Yes.
for your future, where if done correctly,
Yep.
whatever vehicle is out at retirement, it's possible, instead of you having to sell
Yes.
what you have at that time, you can make that purchase because you've
Absolutely.
invested wisely throughout
Absolutely.
the years.
And I also go into talking about investments, because
Hmm.
we a lot of times leave that to the end, or
Yes,
sometimes we don't
that's why
know.
I feel like this financial literacy is a totally different definition from what I've in the past have heard that term, and then I feel like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
But now it feels a lot different
Yes.
because of the information, and then it's people like you who are very well versed, in the knowledge. You make financial literacy sound worth sitting and learning about.
Yeah.
you know?
And especially when you are the poster child for that,
Yes.
because my journey is that I didn't understand the importance of building an emergency fund. I just said we
Hmm.
had money. I got a husband, we got money, we're good. I'll put a little money here, a little money there, and it's all good. But if you are consciously setting it up properly, you don't have to worry about, a divorce may happen, death may happen, anything. If
Yes.
you have it properly set up, it doesn't crush you as
Right.
as it would if we are just kind of going along. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm so passionate about making sure, let's check everything. Let's
Hmm.
check everything. Do we have some investments going? because like I said, we're missing that Social Security. So we don't pay into
I
it.
didn't even know that. I
So
thought that all states paid into that.
some,
Wow.
some of Texas do, but the state that I'm in, El Paso, we don't pay into it.
Wow.
Teachers do not pay into Social Security. So, making people aware of those things, because a lot of people are, like I said, if you don't go into your SSA, your socialsecurity.gov, if you don't go into that and check it out and see that you have all your 40 credits while you're teaching, then you're going to be lacking some credits like I am. I'm
Mm.
lacking some credits. In order for me to get into my retirement, I'm lacking credits because I never knew to go out there and look at my Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew to go out there and look at my teacher retirement. I'm going to teach you how to get you a login for your teacher retirement. A lot of people won't. I ask them. I go on campuses all over the place, and I go on campuses. Have you guys checked your TRS? Do you know what's in your teacher retirement system? No. I said,
Oh,
oh,
wow.
I said,
Yeah.
let's sit down and we need to go and get logged in so you can keep track of that. You want to keep,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember I said, they're going to take your 5 top pays, and that's how you're going to get your annuity. So
So that, oh, wow.
if your pay has stayed 52,000 for 5 years, that's what you're going to get based off, because they're going to take the top 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to multiply it by the formula. That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get for your retirement. So you have to, increase your pay at least 2 or 3 years into your career. You need to, can I do some things that are going to be, stipend, so that I can get a little bit better pay? Do I, can I go and maybe do some coaching or whatever
Yeah.
you want to do? But you want to raise that your annual, so that
Well,
you're
that explains why a lot of teachers don't stop with school themselves.
right. Yes,
They yes, they
absolutely.
continue on with education,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
that does increase their annual
Yes.
income.
Yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Barbara, this has been
There's so
amazing.
much.
It's still even eye-opening. Yeah, the many conversations we've had, I'm still learning so much, because I had no idea that not all 50 states pay in Social Security. That I had no idea. I'm thinking everybody did.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, thank you so much for that. So, being featured on this magazine, because this is all about marching into financial wealth and abundance, and all of the wonderful things that come with planning out um, our financial future, especially those who are younger starting out.
Yes.
Um, Being on the cover, most women that are going to be reading the magazine are 50 and older.
Right.
And so, with that being said, I would like to encourage those who are 50 and over. Teachers, you've got grandchildren, Barbara, you've got great grand. So,
Yes.
share the knowledge, share the information with women who are younger as well, because they can gain a lot of value from the articles and the writers that are in the magazine.
Absolutely.
And also, especially if you personally know of some teachers, or if you are a teacher.
Hmm.
I have relatives that are teachers, and so I will definitely be on them about this, because of what you've shared, and let them know that, there is a way to find out how they can assess where they are now
Yes.
and continue on, planning for this. So I believe, we were talking about marching into March
Yes.
with this. One other thing I'd like to bring out is that, because you are a financial coach, and you are having to interact with people who sign up for any type of gifts, any type of coaching programs, or
Hmm.
just to connect with you to learn more about this. The magazine's theme this month this issue is email marketing
Yes.
and prosperity through email marketing.
Yes.
And as you are talking, I can envision how with the first contact, like the first contact, and once someone is communicating with you and you are replying back and forth through emails,
Yes.
that explains to other business owners as well how effective email marketing can be for your business,
Yes.
because you're not sitting side by side with this person. You're either on a Zoom call
Yes.
or you're on the phone, and they're having to trust you.
Yes.
And we are conditioned now to answer and respond to our emails. And that's why I feel like it's important for those who are not embracing email marketing to really take a look into how you can incorporate this in your business. Now, I know you have, and so can you briefly, before we get out of here, explain how you use emails
Yeah.
for your coaching business?
Absolutely. And I'm so thankful that I am on the cover of this magazine this month. It just fits in so perfectly because the way that I keep in touch with my teachers that I'm working with is through emails.
Mm.
And I do a lot of letting them know. excuse me, excuse me, letting them know when new products are coming out, new things are being added to their. Sorry about that.
No, no, take a minute, take a second.
Oh my goodness.
We've been talking a lot.
But yeah, I just, that is one of the best ways for me to keep in touch with my teachers. And
Mhm.
um, anyone I'm working with is through email. And that I send them when new things come about, I send them an email.
Mhm.
I just, I don't know where that came from. It just all of a sudden it just kind of happened. I'm just like,
That happens. That happens. We're human.
yeah, I'm just like, oh my God, where did that come from? Anyway, but yeah,
Um,
that's what I do is I do use a lot of the email system, and that is how I keep my ideas and information fresh
mhm.
in everybody's mind is by letting them know when new things are coming out. I do it through the email system.
Mhm.
And
That
so,
way they can look out for whatever you're going to be sending them. And so I'll slide into what you are wanting to share with everybody
yes,
is a checklist. So
yes, I've
let them know how they can get your checklist and how important it is for them to actually read through it and then get back with you if they have any questions.
yes, indeed. I have created a checklist for my educators from the beginning. Those that may have in anywhere from 1 to 5 years into the system. And then I've made another checklist for teachers that have passed that 10-year mark and
Mhm.
they are, in that tenure. And then for the teachers that or educators that are transitioning, I made another checklist for them. So there are 3 different checklists that I would love to share. And I will be sharing this through email system that I will be sending it out to all of my teachers that I work with and potentials that want to work with me. I would love for
Mhm.
you to work with me. And that I try very hard to make, you know, finances fun
Yeah.
because, if it's just a drudgery, the same old drudgery, then people don't want to hear it. But I
No.
try to make it, this is something that is life transforming. That's what I
Mhm.
try to do. And that I want to make sure that you know the ins and outs of everything. And so I started off with a checklist, and I am looking forward to doing a 3-day challenge where I'm going to
Yes.
be giving you some great nuggets. Oh my God, you're going to love these nuggets. And so I'm just excited. I'm putting this together And I'm just hoping that I'll be able to share with as many of you as who would like to work with me. But I am going to be sending you out an email uh, to where you can get that checklist, for free. And so you will have a wonderful time when we get to our challenge. So I'm looking forward to it.
I
Thank
am too. I'm excited. I am super excited about that because you can make learning about finances fun,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you are talking to teachers, as is your focus. But I'm sure others can learn,
Oh,
from this as well. So although I was saying, hey, if you're a teacher, a teacher, share the magazine and get through to Barbara. I will also put a link in the comments for you to subscribe to the magazine, and Barbara's link for the download to
yes.
the PDF for the checklist that she's talking about. And so then she will be able to communicate with you via email if you have questions. You have a Facebook group. You're
Yes.
you're updating things on LinkedIn, so you're moving right along,
Hey,
Lois. So
yeah.
you really be able to make an impact on some people's lives that really need you. So I appreciate you
That's
again
wonderful.
for being on the cover. You are amazing.
Thank
Dealing
you.
with
Thank you. Thank you so
finances.
much.
Yes,
I
March
absolutely,
Madness.
yes, we are marching,
Yes,
marching into
marching
this.
into prosperity. Yes.
Thank you. I
Well, that's
appreciate you
because
so much.
financial abundance is key for future generations.
Yes,
And
yes,
if this knowledge continues to just diminish
yes,
over time, it's like, please, we've got to wake up. I remember hearing stuff 18 years ago, and it's just now sinking in. And
yes,
it could be because it wasn't explained to me where I would understand it from a 19, 20, or a 30-year-old's point of view.
correct.
But your information is targeted for that particular age group as well, so you would be able to communicate on their level. You communicate with
Absolutely.
them. So
Absolutely.
that's why, just being on the cover and being able to say, hey, we're talking about, your personal finances, and a way to expand that into a business. Most of us do have these business ideas, but we don't know where to start. So, you can introduce different concepts to them.
Absolutely.
So once again, I want to thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you.
your knowledge and your time and your energy here with Tech Savvy Women Over 50 magazine. Ah,